Hi, I'm Dr. Lawrence Woods, and a very common question I get almost every single day is from my patients who are suffering with sciatica is, how do I sit when I have sciatica? Now I can offer a lot of help in this area because I've been working with sciatic patients for 3 decades. And if you go online, there's a lot of discussion about this. There's no good way to sit with sciatica. You should refrain from sitting, and I get all that. But if you have to sit, I'm going to show you how you should sit. When most people sit in a standard chair, meaning that it's 90 degrees, and the back is 90 degrees, when you sit in a chair like that, it forces the pelvis to tilt back, which reduces your low back curve. So in the y-axis, your low back goes very, very straight. When your low back or your lumbar curve goes straight, the head goes forward. Now, I want you to think about in terms of pressure, in terms of coming down. Imagine if I was balancing a bowling ball with my elbow on a table and straight up, gravity would have very little effect, right? But if I held that forward, the weight starts going up exponentially. And research shows us that every inch that your head goes forward is 20 pounds of driving pressure in the y-axis, which is cascading on these discs all the way down. So if we're sitting at 90 degrees, your low back flattens out, your head starts going forward. Let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm sitting at this chair, my knees are in line with my hips, and I'm rounding. And so what's happening here is I'm not using my muscles in my legs, my butt muscles, my abs are not being used, but I'm hinging from my back. Can you see that? And I'm kind of slouching forward, and the head's going forward. And we all experience this. This is going to really exacerbate. This is why most studies say you shouldn't sit, and this is why, because you're loading those discs. So what happens is you take a normal, healthy disc, like right here. You see there's plenty of space, and between the bones are nerves. And when these nerves come out, these nerves go to your muscles, they go to your organs, your cells, your tissues. But as you're compressing, sitting like this in 90 degrees, in the y-axis, you're compressing down, and it's compressing those joints, those discs, and more importantly, you're hitting on those nerves. And those nerves go down the leg, and when you have sciatica, you usually get low back pain and pain down one of your legs. And it's just awful. So let me go through what you should do. We're going to take this position where the body is in a C curve, because we're at 90 degrees, the head is going forward, and the low back is very straight vertically, like a pogo stick, and you're cascading, you're loading on those discs, and you're compressing it. When you put pressure on the discs, that's probably the trigger for your sciatica. If you sit with your hips above your knees, you see like on a wedge, an angle like that, what that does, that tilts the pelvis forward, right? And notice what happens up here. As we tilt the pelvis forward, we get that nice lumbar curve. The head starts naturally coming back, right? So let me just show you what that means. So if I'm sitting here with my hips above my knees, I am now, my pelvis is tilting forward. I'm engaging my leg muscles, my butt muscles, my abs. But if you look in alignment, my ears are over my shoulders, my hips, and gravity has no effect. If I take that angle out, immediately I start slouching forward. Okay, and I'm loading those discs, and I'm triggering the sciatica. As you can imagine, the frustration as a doctor treating back pain for 30 years, and going on the internet and just telling my patients, just get a wedge, get this, and these people order it, they bring it back into me, and none of it works. And it's statistically, almost everything out there is dirt cheap plastic foam. It's what they call polyurethane or memory foam. It's equivalent to your sponge in your kitchen sink. It has no support. It just collapses, and it's not going to give you the angle that we need if you have sciatica. And so what I recommend, if you're going to look for a seat cushion to help with your comfort and alignment, you want to make sure you get the bottom layer of that foam is a high density foam. It's got to be a polyfoam I recommend using with the threads in there, because it really holds that angle. And roughly the angle would be when you're sitting about 110 degrees from trunk to thigh. The top layers, if you have sciatica, it needs to be soft and it needs to be absorbing. And I wouldn't recommend polyurethane, I wouldn't recommend memory foam. All these are just cheap, dirt cheap plastic foams. They just don't work. The best foam in the world is natural latex. And there's many reasons for it. It's for one thing, it doesn't sit hot. Like all these other plastic foams, they get really hot, which makes you uncomfortable. If you have sciatica and you start getting sitting hot, it's going to just feel really bad. The other thing is it's all natural, but it's comfortable. And it's comfortable because it has pressure support, and it has resilience. And resilience since it is rubber and it's made from the tree sap of a rubber tree, it has that springiness to it, and it pushes back. So when you're sitting at this angle with the base foam holding you in place, the top layer is soft, but yet it's holding you in that position, and it has a bit of pushback. So you're not going to sink down, you're not going to get trapped, you're not going to get hot. There's nothing better out there. And most manufacturers don't use this because it's expensive to make, but I'll tell you, if you engineer this right, you'll never get a better seat cushion, bar none. The material, we use a vegan leather, and I love this material because if it didn't stretch, if this top layer didn't stretch, it doesn't matter what's underneath it. Because if it doesn't stretch, you're not going to have surface area. It's going to create pressure points, especially if you have sciatica, and it's going to exacerbate your pain. So it needs to stretch, and I like materials that stretch in 4 dimensions. It's what we call isotropic. So you're kind of suspended in animation, and you're comfortably held in that position, but yet the base foam is keeping the angle right. The bottom of the seat cushion, I recommend, should be non-slip, because if that slips even a few centimeters, it's going to throw your whole spine off. So we really need to have this seat cushion grip, and most importantly, it should be portable. So let's say if you're driving to work, or you're on the bus, or you're in a taxi, or and you take it to work, you can use it there. The airplanes, you go out to lunch, you go out to movies. Like, how many people out there have sciatica, and their whole life is dictated by sciatica? Oh, I can't go see that film, I got sciatica. Or I can't fly to New York because I got sciatica. Well, just take control of your life. Take control. Get the it's like braces on your teeth. Get the alignment right. Once you get the alignment right, you're going to feel much more comfortable. Now, this is not a cure for your sciatica, but it's going to help you recover, and it's going to help you maintain the angles you need so it doesn't get any worse. Thank you for watching.